Welcome to the Easy Odds videocast as we return to Premier League action after a bit of international duty. I don't really like that stuff, to be honest with you. Domestic is better. Absolutely. Which reminds me, I need to hoover my room when I get back home tonight. And with me is the Easy Odds editor, Simon Hopper. And this is the crucial part of the season and some intriguing matchups coming away this weekend, taking us through to Monday evening when Crystal Palace host Manchester City at Selhurst Park. Let's get straight into the action. It's the big one, top of the shop. Arsenal versus Liverpool, third against fifth. Liverpool, 14 games on their travels.
Yeah.
And only 19 goals. It's not good enough, is it? I mean, compared to the top two.
It's not, no, although Brendan Rodgers is lucky that his defence has been operating very well on the road, which we'll get to in a second, Paul. But yeah, obviously a massive game, third against fifth. Yeah. I think Arsenal should finish in the top four, really, shouldn't they? They're 1-10 to do so now. It's a much bigger game for Liverpool, who are 7-2 to finish in the top four now. You think they've got to get a win here to close the gap on Man United. I think the match odds look about right. Arsenal 17-20.
Yeah.
You know, little shade of odds on. Liverpool 18-5, draw 29-10. I mean, Arsenal have their usual solid selves at the Emirates this season. 10 wins from 14 home league games this term, including their last 6 in a row at home. They've also won their last 6 league games anywhere on the trot. I mean, Arsene Wenger's got his side in very good nick at the moment, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Liverpool are only 6 points behind the table. They are still in good form, despite that reverse to Man United last time out. I mean, they've won 10 of their last 13 league games. And the fourth best away record in the division. So I think Liverpool 18-5 is a fair reflection of their chances. Arsenal shade of odds on looks about right to me. But the bet, Paul, I think this might be more low scoring than people think.
Okay.
When big sides clash, a lot of people always go for the overs line. And,
too much.
Too much. Yeah. And unders would have been an option here, but my actual selection would be both teams not to score, which is the best price 69-50. So we just need one of the teams to keep a clean sheet for this bet to land at 69-50. But this bet would have landed, Paul, in Liverpool's last 7 consecutive away Premier League games, dating back to December, because they've not conceded on the road since they went to Old Trafford on December the 14th.
It's a humongous.
They have an absolutely fantastic defence on the road. I know people might say Martin Skrtel is suspended, but I think Liverpool's system with the 3 at the back, they're comfortable enough to cope without him. Also, you're looking at Daniel Sturridge possibly not being 100% fit, maybe not even playing with his hip problem. Obviously, if he doesn't play a full 90 or doesn't play at all, it helps our bet because Liverpool are less likely to score. As for Arsenal, very tight at the back at the moment. Only 1 goal shipped in their last 5 home league games at the Emirates. So I just think 2 very good defences going head to head. It's a high pressure match, particularly for Liverpool. I can see this being more low scoring than people think, and both teams not to score 69-50 looks valued.
Yeah, the other 3 players at the Arsenal back 4 obviously are covering very well for Mertesacker at the moment. And
I like Mertesacker, I do.
There's a big sort of division in the office. We do have an Arsenal fan, but he's totally subjective. But there are other members of the office who hold my opinion as well. That's Arsenal versus Liverpool. Let's move on to the leaders. Chelsea versus Stoke, first against 10th. And we've no need to discuss this game, have we? Because the last 3 years at Stamford Bridge, this match has finished 1-0 to Chelsea. So it's quite obvious there are 2 or 3 bets you can only have, and that's it.
Well, yeah, my bet is actually along those lines, Paul. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to oppose Chelsea, isn't it? A 3-10 shot. Stoke are 14-1 for the upset, best price if anyone fancies it, but I don't particularly. With the draw at 5-1, it's hard to oppose a team with 11 of 14 home league wins this season. Since Jose Mourinho returned, 25 wins from 32 at home, which is rock solid. Stoke are a bang average away Premier League side. They're 9th in the away league table. You know, they're doing okay. Maybe slightly tailing off now towards the end of the season. I think they've lost back-to-back games now. So I think I'd make Chelsea 3-10 shots more often than not in this situation. That looks fine to me. But the bet, Paul, is under 2.5 goals. Which is similar to the results that have happened in this fixture recently, and it's the best price even money. I think it should be odds on, to be honest, Paul. I mean, this has happened in 10 of 14 Chelsea home league games this season. In fact, Chelsea have gone unders in their last 7 consecutive home league games.
That is unbelievable.
Dating back to December the 3rd against Tottenham, which is incredible. It's pretty easy to see why, though, if you think about it, because they never concede at Stamford Bridge. They've only shipped 6 in 14 there this season. Like, no one ever scores there. Also, it's interesting, Diego Costa's dealt with a muscle injury. If you remember, he went off against Hull with a hamstring problem. Hasn't played for Spain at all over the international break. I know that's not unusual for people who follow Costa's fitness, but sounds like this is a bit more serious than the ones before. And also, Chelsea are struggling for goals, Paul. They've not scored more than once in their last 4 straight home league games. And if Costa's out as well, that will reduce their goal power even further. Stoke tend to go unders away from home, unders in 60% of their away league games this season.
More pragmatic away, aren't
Indeed, yeah, including 3 of their 5 games at top 6 clubs. If you remember, they lost 1-0 at Southampton, 1-0 at Liverpool, and of course they won 1-0 at Man City as well. So good examples of low-scoring games with Stoke on the road at good clubs. Good away defence, only shipped 18 in 15. Also, one of their better players, Victor Moses, is ineligible because this is his parent club, so he's not allowed to play. That further reduces their attacking output as well. So I think under 2.5 goals looks a really nice price at even money. I'd expect a low-scoring game.
For Chelsea to win, probably 1-0, I would have thought. Have a look at the 1-0, see what price it is. Maybe worth a wee bit of value at Stamford Bridge. A fascinating game at Turf Moor, it has to be said. Burnley taking on Spurs as 18th, placed 7th. And there's one stat that sums up the differential between these two teams.
Yeah.
It's this. Burnley have scored 26 goals all season, and yet Spurs have scored 21 just away from White Hart Lane all season.
Yeah, you're right. And Tottenham away from home, Paul, have been are normally very, very good, and it's been the same this season. That's why they're 23 to 20 shots to win at Turf Moor. I think that's about the right price. They've won half of their away league games this season, 7 of 14, which is very, very good, including 3 of their last 4 away from White Hart Lane. Burnley just starting to struggle, aren't they? 6 defeats in their last 9. They've still got fight in them, as their last home game shown, where they beat Man City 1-0, which was an excellent performance. So they're not complete no-hopers, but they're 53 to 20 for the win, which looks about right. I think Tottenham deserves to be around even money shots, in my opinion. But the bet, Paul, it's only a 5 to 6 shot, which I don't like normally tipping at this
Is this
price,
this is almost like a banker bet?
It is pretty much a banker bet for me, yeah. And it's over 2.5 goals at 5 to 6. This has happened. Over 2.5 goals has happened in Tottenham's last 11 consecutive away league games, going back to September. 11 in a row. It's unbelievable. And their away league games are averaging 3.14 goals per game this season. There's always loads of goals in Tottenham's away games. Mauricio Pochettino sets them up on the very front foot, regardless of where they go. Obviously, all of Pochettino's key attacking players are fit, including wonder boy Harry Kane, who I'm sure will be a short price to get on the score sheet again. The goals have dried up a bit for Burnley, admittedly, but they can trouble the better sides on their day. And one of the most impressive stats, I think, from Burnley this season, Paul, is they've scored in all 4 home and away games against the top 2, Chelsea and Man City.
Good shout.
And they also scored at Old Trafford as well recently, if you remember Danny Ings. They also rarely keep a clean sheet at Turf Moor, just 1 in their last 6. So I think goals will definitely be on the cards. Both teams to score is an option, but I prefer over 2.5 and 5 to 6. To land in the 12th consecutive Tottenham away league game.
There's no messing with stats here. And Burnley, everybody's favourite second team in the Premier League. I think you probably agree, and this has nothing to do with betting, we all love Burnley to stay up.
Well, I've got them top promoted club at 9 to 2, which at the start of the season. I think,
so they can even be relegated and you
exactly,
can win that there.
I'll take that, yeah.
Okay, so Sam will take a point from this game, that'll be quite nice. Let's move on to Sunderland versus Newcastle, 17th versus 12th. One of the most unpredictable fixtures in the calendar, Si.
And it's way more important for one team than the other, Paul. I know timely derby is obviously always important, but for Sunderland, this has got to be a win, hasn't it?
The crowd are going to be mental, aren't they, when these two...
They certainly will, yeah. Which is, always the case. I think the match will look about right. Sunderland are slight favourites at 8 to 5, Newcastle 43 to 20, draw 23 to 10. You've got to make Sunderland slight favourites. I know they've been shocking at home this season. They've only won twice at the Stadium of Light. But Newcastle just absolutely on their holidays, don't they? I tipped them to beat Arsenal last time out. They lost 2-1 because they're a huge price, and they did play okay. But they've now lost 3 straight Premier League games anywhere. They've also got the personnel issues are mounting up. Fabrizio Colaccini suspended, Papi Cisse suspended, loads of other injuries. They've also lost 5 of the last 7 away league games, so they're sort of caving in pretty easy on the road. Also, Sunderland have a pretty good record in this fixture. They've only lost 1 of the last 6 at home to Newcastle. But the bet for me, Paul, again, as normally happens in time-weird derbies, or I say weird time derbies actually, shouldn't I? Sunderland. It's both teams not to score. Another low scoring. It's 19 to 20 best price, but again, I think it should be shorter. It's pretty clear Dick Advocat is going to try and tighten Sunderland up. You look at his first game in charge away to West Ham, they lost 1-0, 88th minute, scrappy goal. They didn't look too bad at the back. They've also only scored 1 goal in the last 6 league games, which is incredible.
That's awful.
Stephen Fletcher scored a hat-trick against Gibraltar at the weekend, but that doesn't really convince me that he's going to be...
that's about his level nowadays, isn't it? Let's be honest, yeah.
1 goal in 9 hours of Premier League football doesn't inspire you confidence that this will be a high-scoring game. Also, the second lowest home scorers in the league, just 12 in 15 at the Stadium of Light. I mean, that is poor, isn't it? Newcastle are also struggling for goals as well, just 3 in the last 5 games. Also, it's normally a low-scoring game, this. As I said, 3 of the last 4 have gone unders. So I think both teams not to score at 19 to 20 looks a really nice price. I think this will be scrappy. And if I was going to take a punt on a correct score, I'd probably go a low-scoring Sunderland win to 0. But both teams not to score 19 to 20 looks good.
Basically what Simon is saying, if you're going to watch this game live, make sure you have an energy drink next to you on the sofa, otherwise you could fall asleep, or, I don't know, a nice strong espresso or something like that. Let's move on to our final match. We're going to go to Monday night, Crystal Palace versus Manchester City, 2nd versus 11th. Palace normally score against the better teams at home, but they rarely beat them.
Yeah, that's true, Paul. I mean, I thought Palace looked a little bit big for this, actually. I mean, they're 23 to 5 for the upset. They're in good form, obviously, 3 wins in the last 4. They're playing very, very well as well, if you watch them play. And City, obviously, have lost their last 2 on the road at Liverpool and Burnley. They're best price 7 to 10, which I thought was a little bit short. However, it is worth remembering City have still only lost 3 of 15 on the road this term. I'd be looking for more like 11 to 2 on Palace if I was going to go for the upset. So I'm going to leave them.
You were tempted, though.
I
can tell you were tempted. Another Hopper special.
I'm very strict on my prices, Paul, and if it's not the right price, I don't get involved. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a shock win.
Okay.
There should be goals. I mean, Palace have got overs in 4 of the last 5. Alan Pardew's very open about his strategy. Yeah. Obviously, with the Palace have their wide men who are very creative but fail to track back a lot, so it's easy to see why. City average over 2 goals a game on the road, but I thought overs at 4 to 5 looked short enough to me, too short to get involved. So I'm going to do a no bet game here, Paul. But I expect it to be a good one. If you're around on a Monday night, I think I'd definitely tune in for this.
Yeah, there'll be some entertainment there, and it could go either way. And wouldn't surprise me if we get goals galore, especially in the second half. Okay, there we have it: Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Stoke, Burnley, Spurs, Sunderland, Newcastle, Palace, Man City. But where is the editor of easyodds.com going for his best bet this weekend?
It's a bit of a monster one, Paul. It's actually my biggest price one of the season, which is saying something. I've got Aston Villa to beat Man United at Old Trafford.
Oh yes,
at a best price 12 to 1. I mean, 12 to 1, Paul. That implies like an 8% chance of Villa winning the match.
I knew the maths would come into it, but if you look at every single game and you go back through the records of the teams this season and in the fixtures gone by, it is the only way to play the game.
It absolutely is, Paul. Yeah, and I mean, Villa have won over a quarter of their away league games this season. They're not that bad on the road, including last time out. They won 4-0 at Sunderland, and they were absolutely brilliant.
Devastating.
And you look at the other games they've won away this season, Paul. They've won at Liverpool 1-0. They've won at Stoke 1-0. They've won at Palace 1-0. All very, very tough away games that they've won. So they're not complete no-hopers. Obviously, so much motivation with still deep in the relegation mire. United are obviously playing well now, 4 straight league wins, including that win at Liverpool last time out, which was massive. However, they still lost 2 of 15 at home this season, and that doesn't sound much. But when you consider Villa are a 12 to 1 shot, losing 2 of 15, Villa should be a shorter price than this. I actually think, coupled with Villa's decent away win ratio, I think Villa should be around half the price. I honestly think it should be about 6 to 1 shots for this.
And most of the Man United players have been on international duty as well.
That's absolutely true as well, Paul. Absolutely true. So Villa to beat Man United 12 to 1 shock upset. That's my best bet.
And it's been a good week for us, for you in Europe this week. If anybody's followed your predictions.
Yeah, I was 3 from 3 on the Euro 2016 video last weekend. England Lithuania over 3.5 at 8 to 5. Holland Turkey, both teams to score 21 to 20. Northern Ireland to beat Finland 44 to 25. We were on for the 4-timer, Montenegro, Russia draw at 12 to 5, but the pesky Montenegro fans scuppered our bet. We also had Italy, England draw during the week at 43 to 20, so in decent form going into the weekend.
We're in good nick, and keep your eyes on the editorial on easyodds.com, because coming up over the next couple of weeks, including this weekend, it is huge for sport, massive for football, for horse racing as well. And do have a look at the Angus Loughran Grand National preview and his Masters preview. The video cast is superb, and Angus's Panormal comes up with something that just hits me between the eyeballs, especially for the Masters. I mean, I've heard of most of the golfers, but he goes left to centre and then goes even further left. It wouldn't surprise me if he voted for the Communist Party at the next general election. Simon, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend, and hopefully you'll earn a few more coppers as we go into a Monday evening to Tuesday. See you shortly. Bye for now.